What's up, friends? Welcome to Content Creator Hangout, the place where creators meet community. Now, if you want to build your influence and confidence on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that bell. If not, stick around and maybe you'll enjoy this, and maybe that will get you to subscribe. The more creators that we have on this channel, the more opportunity we have to learn from each other and learn from you as well. And also ask those tough questions and feel like you have a team behind you. Today, we're going to be covering the Melon app. I'm really excited to share this one. This is a new live streaming app in 2020. And what's exciting about it is going into 2021, I think just having an easy user face and having something, I know a lot of you may use StreamYard, and that's great. I think StreamYard is a great live stream platform. I'm just trying to bring something new, fresh, and different to the table. I'm a huge advocate for Streamlabs. I've always used them, Streamlabs OBS. But you know what? My CPU for my computer is not the best. And I think that's what is so amazing about these live streaming apps, because you're pulling from their cloud and not from your own CPU. So I'm looking down right now. I really want to make sure that I'm coming in this live stream, not sounding like a robot. So I'm going to check it. Okay, and I'm not. But my kids are watching Netflix. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully I'm not lagging and everything else. And I don't want to waste your time, so I'm going to hop right into this. I look forward to seeing if anybody comes into the chat. If not, right now I'm live streaming in Streamlabs Melon. Rosie, come here. Go in your bed, honey. Come on. Go in your bed. Go on. And so I'm going to do a screen share, so that way coming into this live stream you're going to see exactly what these options are. Now, not all of them are open right now because there are options before you go live, and I think that's great, and I'm going to actually talk about them even though you won't be able to see them. And I also do have a friend who is in the live streams right now. His name is Lewis from his channel Emily and Lewis. They're actually long friends of mine that since I started my YouTube journey. That's one of the channels that I have been in contact with, have become friends with, and that's the beauty of YouTube, and especially these live streaming platforms. You know, having people in your live streams, I think in 2020, especially moving into 2021, is so important because there is that need for community, and that's what we're all about here on Content Creator Hangout. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen. Now, I may get the endless screen, so bear with me, okay? But you can see what I'm working with here. And you will actually see Lewis waiting on the side. So here we are. And if you see this red background, that is what you guys can also see, but you can actually edit your background before you come into the live stream. And you can see here, we kind of get this endless background, but that's okay. So Lewis is over here waiting in the live, and he's not going to be able to come in until I hit show on stream. Why do I love Streamlabs Melon? I love it, one, because of the easy interface, but I really love it because I'm in control of my lives. So if Lewis decided to come in and cuss me out, right? I'm like, okay, we don't do that here. Hold on, I can go ahead and I can do exactly what's happening right now. I can not show him on the stream, and then I can actually go ahead and kick him from it. And then I'll probably block him afterwards, right? But I think it's great that you have those easy options and you're in control. And you never know what can happen in a live stream. I know because this isn't my first channel, it's my second channel. And on the first one, Sparks Family TV, having children, they're very unpredictable. But not only that, just having people in there, you never know what people are going to say, do, especially having people in your stream. Right? So on the right-hand side, you're going to see that I have the stream chat. So anybody that decides to come into this live stream, I can see what they're saying. Also, I have the private chat. So if me and Lewis wanted to go ahead and talk on the side here, we can do that. And we can't hear from him or anything until he does join the live stream. But you see, this is a very easy interface here. Now, if I want to edit my screen, let's see if we can do that while we're live. I'm very interested. Yes, we can. Okay, cool. So I can actually show you these options. And this is what I look at before I decide to go live. So going in 1080p, just make sure you have a really good connection. But another thing, you are pulling from their cloud. And I believe I mentioned that. My ADD is kicking in like it always does. But you can they pull from their cloud. So if your CPU goes up like it did for me, I always used Streamlabs OBS, and that was a great platform. I think it's great, but the problem is my CPU was always at 100 because I don't have the best computer, and you may not either, especially starting on YouTube. I think maybe big creators forget that, we don't have all this equipment. The stuff that I have, my Rode microphone, all these things, it took me over a year to acquire most of the stuff. So here we have participant names, which I love because, there we have Lewis. You can see content creator at the top. I would prefer content creator Hangout, but maybe next time I can go ahead and update that. And then audio status, I like it because that way we know that the mics are hot, right? We know that the microphones are working. Or if their microphones aren't on, they can see that maybe before Lewis decides to come into the live. And this is going to be, and I believe what TTS on guest join is like an audio. I don't even need that. So a voice pops up, like for instance, when Lewis came in before I went live, I had that on and it said Lewis joining live or something like that. It sounds like Siri. So here we have logo, which we can have powered by Melon. This will be on there no matter what if you don't have the paid service. So I pay $15 a month for Streamlabs Melon, and it gives you this option as well. But if not, you will be streaming 720, and this logo will have to be there. But the banner, so we can have Live with Melon, and we can actually edit this as well. And you could put your own logo as well. So I think that's an awesome, awesome feature, that if you have your own custom logo, and if you don't know how to create one, I'll just go ahead and say it. Go ahead and check out Fiverr. You can get great prices for pretty much anything. I love Fiverr. And then you have your ticker at the bottom. So you could go ahead and say something like, make sure you tune in next week for whatever, or don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. And this background, here we go. So we can go ahead and change this to a different color. I like red because that's the theme color of Content Creator Hangout. But there's some features that you can just set up before you go live, and you're good to go. So I'll go ahead and hide settings. But I mean, this is just too awesome. It's like almost too easy. And before I was live here, I could go ahead and choose my microphone, and it goes through my Scarlett 2i2 USB. Love that. So I can see here that my microphone is working. Boom. That's good. And then here, we can see what we use when we're live streaming. So you can go ahead and select those as well. I mean, everything is right in front of you. I don't know anything easier. Really, I've seen StreamYard. I like StreamYard, but I also like the projection of when it comes into the screen. So what I would like to do is let you know that after this live stream, I will go ahead and I will put a link in the description for Melon if you're interested. And like I said, you can get this for free. It's just going to have the Melon tag at the top. Does it work for mobile? The Melon app, I know Streamlabs has you can just download Streamlabs app and you can use that, but I don't believe Melon itself has something for mobile. But that's a great question, James, and I will have to look that up as well. But I don't believe that this interface, that this platform is used for mobile. But yeah, just look up Streamlabs app. You can download that. And what's cool about the Streamlabs app is you can actually say you want to get donations or super chats. A lot of people think you can't get super chats until you're monetized on YouTube. Totally not true. Streamlabs offers that to you, and you don't need 1,000 subscribers to also go live using your cell phone. You can use the Streamlabs app for that as well. So, but yeah, Streamlabs does have an app for mobile. And James, hey, thanks for coming in here too. I appreciate you, really do. And James Pruitt, he has an advice channel as well for YouTube, has a lot of great things to offer as far as advice goes. So I'm going to bring in Lewis, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his channel as well, but I want you to see how this works. And I'm going to go ahead and play around with the features here so you can see exactly what I'm doing while Lewis is chatting with us.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hey, what's up, Lewis? Thanks for coming in, man. How you doing?
Good, good. How you doing?
Not too bad. So everything looks good on your end?
Yeah, I'm good on this side.
Cool. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel, Lewis, and where you're from and all that good stuff?
Well, I'm from California, and like I said, like you mentioned earlier, uh, my kids have a channel. It's called Emily and Lewis, and we started the journey almost around the same time as you guys did on your channel.
Yep.
And like I said, we did some videos, and we did collaborate on when we went out to see you guys, and it was a lot of fun. But after all the changes with all the kids'
Mm,
channels happened, it
mm,
pretty
mm,
much just
mm.
brought the channel to like a dead stop. It just
Yeah.
pretty much,
So
yeah,
on that note, with I'll let you guys know right now. So as far as kid channels go, a lot of those changes were the loss of comments. So you can no longer receive comments in your videos. People don't receive notifications anymore. And if
yep,
you're monetized, like Lewis is, you also the amount of money that you receive for monetization went down, like, what was it, like 80% or something.
about 85%, you could say.
Yeah.
How you
So
doing, James?
what's up, James?
Yeah, not just say hi to James. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you did prove a good point though. With the channel, it was a lot of fun, and we did have a lot of good adventures, and it was fun. We started it to document spending time with my kids. So
Absolutely.
that's the reason I started the channel with them. And then as we kept going and putting out more content, slowly our channel started growing. And
Yeah.
then we got up to a point where we got up to maybe about 700 subscribers, 800 subscribers. But then at that time, I'm like, okay, how many of these people are really true subscribers? Because at that time, that's when we started doing that whole, sub for sub, oh, let's support each other. And like I know you talk a lot about this on your other lives as well. And
Yes.
it's once you eliminate all that sub for sub, all that let's support and support, then you'll
Yes.
start
Thanks for
getting,
mentioning that.
yeah, you'll start getting all the real subscribers that are really going to support what you're doing.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I
Absolutely.
know I know a lot of the people that know me from my son and daughter's channel. Yeah, they would hear my voice, but they never knew who was the man behind the camera.
Mm,
So now that I'm out,
yeah.
now they know. Now they could put a face to a voice. But to make a long story short, when all that stuff happened with when they just cut everything out for all the kids channels, it's just like you just crashed straight into a brick wall, like without even breaking. It just everything just came to a halt.
Yeah. I think that was one of the most difficult things for me, was
Hmm.
starting over at a new channel and talking to a whole new audience. Before it was kids, and like, Brendan and Sissy could do whatever they wanted, act a fool. I could laugh
Yep.
at them, make fun of them. We do
Yep.
just our family fun stuff. But
Hmm.
now talking to adults, it's a totally different atmosphere. But I love it. You were there every time, just about, in our content creator hangouts on Sparks Family TV. And that was my passion. And you're like, man, what are you doing? Like, do
Yeah.
content creator hangout. And I just want to thank you live on here, even though this is for Melon app, whatever. I just want to say thank you for your support, because this is what I think YouTube's all about. We look at analytics, we look at titles and thumbnails and all these things, but I feel like if you really dissect YouTube and what it's
Mm.
about, it is about community, and
Yeah.
especially for a creator working with other people. How many
Yeah.
times, man, were you thinking about quitting? Or even myself, we hit burnout, and I just
Hmm.
did a short video for that too. So
Yeah.
if you guys are watching that, check out the short video, because burnout's real. And when you have people there with you, man, I mean, what a difference it makes.
Yeah. I mean, because when you go through the whole burnout by yourself, you feel like, man, you're going through this by yourself. But in reality, you're not. There's a
Yes,
lot of us content creators. We hit that, that how do you say that rock on the road, and you have to be like, okay, time to take a step back and
yeah,
just let me regroup and let me try to focus again and try to get everything back in motion.
absolutely. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop sharing the screen, and then,
No
so,
problem.
but what you guys can see is when I hide this stream right here, what we can do is we'll do different types of camera views. But now you guys can see in this Streamlabs Melon, how this looks. And options will actually open up for me right here once I actually hide this. But that way you guys know if I'm switching between camera views, this is exactly how this looks. And yeah, actually, Lewis, what's your take on the Melon app? I'd love to hear since I have you in here as well.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm seeing right now, it has a lot of great features. Like I said, it's nice to have another option besides StreamYard and Streamlabs, OBS, like you were saying.
Yes, yeah.
So far, I'm liking the stuff that I'm seeing on this. So this is definitely going to be another option as a for a streaming service to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm gonna do as well is I'm gonna hide this stream here. So now we're in our normal mode. So if everybody
Okay.
can see that, and that's the thing. Hey, and this is a great example of going live, right? So a lot of times, I know a lot of creators have the fear of going live, and I think this is a great example of why. And I love Emily Lewis. Tell them I
Yeah,
said hi, by the way.
yeah, I will.
Um, and I think that because it's the unpredictability. We never know
Hmm.
what's going to happen.
Yep.
But I think that even for this, right? So say even in this case, Lewis is like, "Hey man, can you go ahead and hide me real quick? Whatever. If you have to do
Hmm.
whatever, I can go ahead. Now you guys know on the left hand side, I have this panel, and I can go ahead and do that. And you guys won't even see Lewis. I can, but I think it's a great example. Also, I want to say on the note of live streaming, it's hard to conquer your fears and go live. Even for you, man, I think I commend you for coming in here and doing this because you're not usually the man behind the camera. I mean, you are the man behind the camera, but usually you're not the
Yeah.
one on camera.
Yep. No, yeah.
But
I mean, like I said, with the kids, it was just about them. It was documenting, their adventures, when we went on our trips. I mean, when we did the whole thing with Brent and Sissy, also, we went to that
yes,
museum. That was an awesome day. I mean,
yes,
it was one of those things where they were so tired after that they're like, "Dad, where are we going?" I'm like, "We're gonna go back to the hotel,"
yes,
and they were just so exhausted. But it's just one of those things where everything was documented to show, their adventures, and most of the time on that, I was never in the videos. It was just about them.
yes,
What's up, buddy?
yeah,
We make the part 2 at the museum.
He
yes,
says
we
he wants to.
did.
He said he wants to do a part 2 in the museum. He remembers.
Yeah,
Say hi,
yes.
Spencer.
Hi.
What's up, Lewis? What's up, little man? Yeah, we had so much fun, and that's what it's all about. It's that collaboration. It's working together with creators, and
Okay, I'll be there soon. Sorry about that.
no, it's cool. And oh, I see Lonely Star Pickers here. Hey, how's it going, gentlemen? What a great panel. Let's learn something new. Yes, and by the way, since you're coming in the stream, what we're going over is the Streamlabs Melon. It's a live streaming app, just like StreamYard. Just something new to bring to the table. I like to promote things that I believe in, and this is definitely one of them. I watched quite a few videos, seen the quality. My computer is older,
Yeah.
but what a really awesome platform that this is.
Yeah, like I said, Lone Star Picker. That's another friend of mine. That's Louis. And I appreciate him coming in also
Absolutely,
and showing
absolutely.
support. And yeah, I mean, I know you're talking about the Melon app and stuff. I like it because it seems very easy to use. It doesn't seem nothing difficult to use. I mean, I'm looking at everything
Yes.
on my end, and it looks easy. So I think this is definitely going to be another platform for other content creators to start using and utilize besides StreamYard and what other stream services are out there.
So what I'm going to do is, so this is a good example. So I'm going to do exactly what I did for Lewis, and that was before we went live. You're going to at the top left.
Hmm.
I will go ahead and show this again on screen. On the top left here, we have invite guest, and I guess that's an important part that I missed earlier. So you want to go ahead and invite guest, and when you click it, it gives you a new link that is attached to this live stream.
Hmm.
And so I just actually put that here in the chat. So if anybody wants to join, what's going to happen is you'll click it. And Lewis, what happens on your end when I send this link to you?
Well, you get when you click on it, it'll take you to the welcome page, you could say, It gives you the option to put your name and all that good stuff, and then you
Okay.
just hit join. And then once you hit join, then it just says that whoever's doing the live, they could see you, but you're not on the actual live yet until they bring you in.
Okay.
So it's
Well,
pretty
easy.
much like waiting in a green room, you know?
And that's another thing. I seen it when I first started off, and I seen a lot of before all these live streaming apps came out, right, for computers and whatnot. But I seen it quite often. Hey, join Zoom or join, or link up your Skype or join the Skype chat. And wow, is this simplified? If I know who I want to bring in, send it to their personal email. But for the sake of this live stream, just sharing it there in the chat, and if somebody wants to join in, they can join in. And I think that's just simplicity, where it's 2020, and it's nice to see things that work, because I feel like so many things can be overcomplicated,
Yeah, no, definitely. I totally agree with you 100%.
So for the sake of this, I would have to say there's a couple things that I would say are kind of, they're not too bad, right? In my eyes, I overlook them very easily, but I'll put this back up again. Now on the top right here, I have my thumbnails, but if I click one of these, I'm not sure if I go live and what happens, but what I know is when I was setting up the live stream and I click, say, settings, right? It would back me out of what we have here completely. And then I would have to re-invite you back to the live stream. I'm pretty sure. I don't think you would be there waiting. But that's one of the things that it was just a little weird, right? So if I set up all my settings, I set up my banner, set up the logo and all these things, and I hit settings, it backs me out, and I go back in, I have to re-put those settings in. So I'd have to say that was kind of one of them. And I'm trying to think if I had another one. I thought I had one other thing. Oh, another thing is when I'm sharing, say a tab, right? And I go on, say, YouTube. And this is a really cool feature too, by the way. I'm sharing my screen, but if I hit stop sharing and I want to then share again, I can then select a tab that I already have open on my internet, or I can open my browser and share it. The problem is say I'm on YouTube. I click on my thumbnail in the top right corner in YouTube, and then I'll click YouTube Studio, right? Say I want to show you analytics. What it's then going to do is it's going to actually just stay on that main tab that I had open.
Okay.
It's not going to move with me as I click on the YouTube Studio.
Nice.
So I just find that really unique. So if one tab opens up and it's not on that main page that you had open, it's not going to follow it. So I'd have to say that's the other thing. But you know what? Okay. I can overlook all of that,
Definitely.
So I just wanted to share that, because nothing is perfect, and this is fairly new. I think this came out not too long ago.
All right. Yeah, so this is a good way to test it out and actually get the word out about it, so more people that want other options to have another streaming service, now they have this to fall back on as well. I mean, from what I'm seeing, it looks really well, and the image looks really clear as well on my end. So,
agreed. All right, so I think that as far as all the features go from Melon, I think that we mainly got that covered. So what I would also like to do is, I'm going to end the portion right now. So we're going to stay live, but I think that's about it for Melon. So if you came from Melon, I hope that all these tips were useful to you. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, click that bell so you don't miss the future live stream, especially if you want to come in and join us, ask those tough questions, and learn from other creators or help other creators. So I just wanted to mention that, so that way if people aren't still waiting for more tips on this. But that is literally how simple it is. And if you want to go live on this, guys, you literally hit go live, and it lets you know public, private, or unlisted. I mean, the only thing that on that note too, I will end it with this note, is it only allows you 75 characters in your description. So what I did put in my description right now is, if you guys see, I put support this live stream. So at any point, if you guys ever want to donate to Content Creator Hangout so I can continue making better videos, you guys can do that at any point in time. I won't get notified, but even if you're watching this on replay, you can always support Content Creator Hangout. just let me know in the chats if we're live, if you do, and that way I can give you a shout out and just give you my special thanks.
Oh, definitely. Question I had about this the before. I know you're saying on this. Are you able to schedule like a live, or do you just have to go straight live when you're going to go live? Because you know how
Great
StreamYard
question.
it gives you the option to schedule before, like
Right?
say
Can you
want
see
to do
this,
something.
Lewis?
Yeah, I can see it. So you're going to
Yep.
go on Monday and it's Friday,
Hmm.
but you want to schedule it, and so it allows you to do that as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and that's actually. I mean, I think scheduling is way more important than going live. It's kind of like when you make
Yeah.
your video, making it private so you can edit it.
Hmm.
I think going live, it's really good to schedule as
Hmm.
well. So I think that's a great feature, and that's right next to where before you go live, it'll say go live right here. You
Yeah.
can schedule that content.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Great
Oh,
question, man. Thank you for covering that.
I just want to make sure it has like the certain stuff that other ones have, and I don't know if this. Oh, another question. Does this let you like record without going live, or does this have to be actually live?
Yes, it actually does allow you to record
Hmm.
without going live.
Okay.
That's actually, thank you for asking me that because that actually is one of the things that they had mentioned. Because Melon
Hmm.
actually has their own YouTube channel that they've
Hmm.
recently started with
Okay.
pretty much everything that we covered in today's video. They do deep dives, but obviously in shorter increments.
Okay.
But that's one of the things that they did mention
Okay.
is I don't think like within the Melon app, like you can go live or you can record.
Hmm.
But that's a great question, and that's something I would love to actually look into because I was thinking that too. Because do you have to download a third party app, to actually record, your screen or voiceovers and things of that
Hmm.
nature? But from what I've seen or heard, I believe is that you can do it. But that's
Okay.
actually something I don't know. So thank you, Lewis, for covering that.
Yeah. Oh no, no. Just I just
Great
wondered
question.
because I know there's the other ones. I know there's some that you can pre-record, but I don't. I'm not sure if all of them have it. That's why I wanted to see if, just like I said, just wanted to know like kind of like the ins and outs of it. Just to have another option.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
You know what to do when in doubt
Mm.
is ask Google. So let's see. I'm very interested because
Well, let's see. Now I got you thinking about it. Like, okay,
it's going to drive me
it's
crazy
gonna drive
now.
me nuts. I know.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to drive me crazy.
I'm
So
sure
yeah,
you.
what's this? Oh, you said Lone Star Picker. Hey, if you want to come
Yeah.
in the live stream, feel free. Just make sure that you have, I'd probably say just decent lighting. That'd be one of the main things. But yeah, feel free. Anybody, James Pruitt, if you guys want to come in, chime in. Let me know what you guys use. I know James uses StreamYard,
Hmm.
but I would actually like to hear from James, or if you just want to leave something in the comments, James. How do you compare StreamYard to Streamlabs Melon? I would like to hear that.
Well, that I can answer that too.
Go ahead,
On,
Lewis.
on on the Streamlabs, yeah, it has its options to, record, and it has, if you pay the monthly, you could remove the logo, and it has to put the banners and all that, all the bells and whistles, like they say. And of course, they have the different subscriptions. They have the basics, and then the more expensive, and then of course the how can you say the more executive one?
Is this
And
StreamYard or is this
yeah, no,
Streamlabs?
Streamyard.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
StreamYard. But like I said, from what I'm seeing from Melon app right now, just from behind the scenes that you showed me before, it looks to be pretty good, and something to utilize besides StreamYard. The reason I'm saying that because I also do I started doing a live on Mondays with my friend Louie that he's on here right now. It's we call it Mondays Mindful Merchants.
Okay.
It talks about being a content creator and dealing with different everyday issues with depression, anxiety, just a little bit of everything.
That's
I mean, I
awesome.
know me and you haven't really got to talk about it because we've been so
Mhm.
busy. But yeah,
Absolutely.
that's something that we and him started to do, and we were talking about utilizing something where we could pre-record, maybe a guest if they can't come on live, to kind of pre-record it and then play it at a later date, where I guess you could put it on and I guess you could
Hmm.
chat with people.
Yeah.
So Yeah, that's the reason I'm asking all the questions with this one. But this looks great. You know, in
And
my opinion, it looks
yeah,
great.
that's a great point you bring up too. Is
Mm.
you don't have to use this feature to necessarily go live, right? And that's
Yeah, yeah,
making those private videos or unlisted, and just talking to people. So, for instance, I brought you in before we went live.
yeah.
And I think that's great that, we can just have a normal conversation. All you needed
Hmm.
was the link to share to you and,
Yep.
you know, and you can have that opportunity to record
No,
or
definitely.
with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but like I said, I like what I'm seeing so far with this. I'm curious to go on there after and just kind of explore it a little more, just to kind of get more familiarized with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'll definitely leave the link in the description.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
anybody
I
wants to check it out.
appreciate you bringing this up and sharing all this information about this. And like I said, I didn't know nothing about it, so I do now, and
Yeah,
I know James and Louis do now too. So
absolutely. Let's see what Lone Star Picker says. Hard to obtain, folks, due to logistics and schedules, etc. If you have a guest that may wish to come on a show when they cannot attend at a regular time, then you could possibly record it to air later. Yeah. James Pruitt says StreamYard is compatible with mobile as well. That's part why I asked earlier. I do a lot on mobile when I'm out and about. Overall, I think Melon looks good and it does a lot of things. Yeah, and I think they're very, very similar. I've watched videos on StreamYard.
Mhm.
I mean, there's no denying that StreamYard, if you see the big channels using StreamYard, there's a very good chance that, well, they're either one, probably endorsed by StreamYard, but I think on the other hand, they're probably not going to want to put their name behind something that isn't good, especially
Yeah.
you, James, right? James is using StreamYard.
Mhm.
Obviously he believes in it, and that's why I'm here just talking about Melon, because I do. I believe in it. And this is the beginning. I'm sure there's many things to work out,
Mhm.
but I think over time, it's just going to get better and better. But what a great start.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that it's just starting, because if you become a part of it now, you'll get to see it evolve eventually to better, and they'll probably bring in different features, and it's
Yes.
awesome that you're getting to test this on its, when it's barely it's like getting a brand new car out of the lot. You're
Yes.
jumping in, you're like, whoa, this ride is smooth. Let's see what else it could do down the line. So it's exciting.
Absolutely. I'm going to bring in Lone Star Picker right now.
Yeah.
I see him in the stream right now, too.
Hey, Louis.
I got a new phone here. Hey guys.
Hey, Louis. How's
How
it
you doing,
going?
bud?
How you doing? Good, good. Nice to meet you. I'm Louis.
That's Louis.
Great to meet you. My name's Brendan. Yeah, welcome to the channel. Appreciate you being here and supporting and all that good stuff. Why don't you talk a little bit about your channel, Louis?
Oh, well, just a beginning content creator. I'm collaborating with this guy right above here on a show
Yes,
that he just yeah. So we're basically with that show. I can tell you a little bit about, and
Yes.
it's
Love to hear
that
about.
we just both as content creators. We've had this discussion, Luis and I, like about what can we afford to be of service to the community, so it's not always just about us and whatnot, because we'll have time to
Yes.
make other things. But, I think it's, I heard you guys speaking at the beginning about, enriching, this community in terms of like, being able to find connections and common interests and stuff like you're doing, it looks like, just being able to have a hangout just to talk about stuff as such. But,
Yes, sir.
the mindful merchants is just an idea of just, how as content creators can we be a little bit more mindful? How can we use mental strategies, mental well-being ideas, stuff that affects us all. So it sounds like you've already talked about some of it. So that's.
So
And you
what's
said
your
Brian.
background in that? What's your background behind that, Louis? Like, or like, say the motivation behind it. Was that just something you guys discussed together that maybe is a need right now on YouTube, or?
I mean, I can speak for myself. I mean, Luis has his reason, for wanting to be a part of it too. And, that thought was always there. Was like when I first started doing, or just even thought about doing YouTube, I thought, what is my intention? Why are we here? Is it just for wasting time? Is it an ego-driven thing? Do I want to be entertained, or do I just want attention? Or, and so I like to contemplate those things. Oh, I like that setup better. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
I don't
set
feel
up
like
my
a giant anymore.
I know.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm not on my computer in the back room. So
No
there
worries.
you go.
You sound good though. It looks just fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. And it just really, it's really about intention. It just, it's like I think we all come to YouTube for different reasons, don't you think?
Absolutely. And that's what makes that's what makes YouTube such a powerful platform, and I think that throughout time, I know like me and Lewis have been on YouTube for a couple of years now. But how much it's already changed since then. I just remember then it was just like, description, titles, everything had to be, and that's like what seemed to be so important, keywords. But I feel like in 2020, especially going into next year, we've almost, I don't want to say we've lost it, right? But the human aspect is so important, right? Connecting with people. And I just love that is the main aspect of what you guys are starting, because I feel like there's such a big need for that. There's so much negativity in the world. And in a sense, that's what I wanted to create here, just a little bit different dynamic. But I think that's great. And I think it's powerful. And it says a lot about you two as well,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Definitely. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, just,
but yeah,
I
like
mean,
I said,
go ahead, Luis.
Go ahead, Luis.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No. No, I was just going to say, the reason he told you the reason why he started it. And like I said, and I was, the same way, being a content creator, I know what is the ins and outs of it, if, the stress and, I got to get this video out this week, or how many videos am I going to put out? And it's always crunch time. And then, like you said, when you're recording, especially with the kids, it's unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, you could be recording and I'm going to use a perfect example right now. When we were at Disneyland recording, when we were on one of the rides, there's a part on the video that I had to cut out because there was a lady on the phone call and she was cussing. And fortunately for me, she was not too close to me, but it picked up the whole conversation. So, and the good thing I wasn't live, but just to give you an example of the kind of stuff that you got to deal with.
Never thought about that.
You got to cut that out, because if you put that on and it's a kid's video, then you'll get in trouble eventually.
And what are the repercussions for that, Lewis? You want to cover that? Do you remember what FTC and COPPA?
Yeah, they'll ban your channel, they'll delete your channel, and they'll ban you for life.
Yep, and they're talking about fines. So the Federal Trade Commission is the FTC.
Yeah, the FTC, yeah.
And what they were saying as well is this was a difficult time. If somebody were to ask me, should I start a kids channel? I'll be honest with you, I'll say no. Nope. There's ways to do it, just without the children in the videos. One of the main things that happened was when FTC came down, YouTube was sued, or Google was sued.
No, Google was sued, yeah.
Yep, and which was nothing for them. But the biggest part was, one, I believe, because of predatory reasons, and also you have advertisements that were targeting children. So that's illegal, right? So YouTube took a little minor hit, but I believe that the biggest hit that was taken was creators. And how can YouTube eliminate smaller channels that are kid channels? Well, I believe it starts with letting them know that you could be sued. I believe it was up to $40,000 per video.
Per video,
if you make a video that you say is for kids and it's not, or vice versa. And that's a scary thought, even for gaming channels who are like, dude, I swear, and I play Fortnite. My videos aren't for kids, but kids watch Fortnite. So what do I do? And I don't even think that's ever been answered, because there's so much gray area there,
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, that's just one of the things. That's just one of the things that they can do. It's just, fine you. And then, of course, they'll ban you. They'll delete your channel.
Yeah.
And, and they could actually bring more charges on top of whatever that the FTC brings at you. So, I mean, that's why they cut out all that.
Sending this message, right? They're sending a message, but it's also, it's kind of like, a police officer arrests you because you did something illegal. And, you go to court and you say, well, I didn't know the law. It doesn't matter. It's still a law. And if you disobey it, so it's kind of one of those things. Like that's where like I think like the concept of the show. When you ask me like why why would what would the reason behind doing the show is that we all have to have some kind of level of mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes from different aspects. Like I love Luis's example. There's a lady over there, and she's saying whatever she's saying on the phone. But from your perspective as an editor, as a content creator, you got to be really mindful that something like that doesn't slip in. But at the same time, it kind of goes to show you that there's people around that are not doing mindful things.
Nope.
And
Absolutely.
what is your role in it? Well, I mean, you can avoid it or just make sure. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things where I think if we're here, and I don't know if are you a reseller, Brian?
No, he's not. He's not a reseller.
Reseller?
He's a content creator only. Yeah.
Okay. So one aspect of our show is that we're really kind of lightly focused on resellers, but it's really meant for anybody. It's about just mindful techniques and whatnot. And I think that's something I don't see a lot on YouTube. So if we're like to talk about strictly like, the content we see on YouTube, I see a lot of sloppiness, and I see a lot of careless behavior sometimes, and people just, do you remember the TV show called Max Headroom? And if you haven't, go back on YouTube. It's just like, it reminds me of like from the early like 90s, late 80s, there was this character named Max Headroom, and he lived in this TV set. It was this apocalyptic kind of comedy show, but it was like, we're in it right now today, 30 years later, blah, 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 a bunch of talking heads, and people are not really, carefully being conscious minded is what I'm trying to say. Being mindful is to be aware. To be aware is like, just have a little bit of consciousness, about what it is you're saying, what it is you're doing. Also, like what you're talking about, what are you bringing to the table?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the military, so yeah, I always have to be mindful, especially in uniform. But even outside of that, I always feel like I have a certain level of always, being myself, obviously, but presenting myself in a certain way. I find that to be really important. But I
can imagine being like disciplined, in the manner that you had, you were, whatever your military, background was. It's like there's just this constant awareness you probably had to afford yourself, just because there's rules,
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's one of the things that I love about YouTube as well is it's yours and it's your accountability, and that kind of brings me even really back to Streamlabs Melon. It's just having that control and the unpredictability. And I think that ties in actually really great. And I'm not here all about live stream and streaming on Melon, but that popped in my head because it's like, what if that happens? What if, you can't predict everything, especially when you're live. So you hear somebody swearing or you hear, whatever, then it's not for your channel, whatever, even for here, I try to, to keep it professional, but the thing is like, it's unpredictable but I can go ahead and hide somebody, boot them right then and there. So I just wanted to mention that again. I love that because you can't always predict everything, Yeah,
it's true. You never know how someone's just going to act out or just, all of a sudden out of the blue, just start talking like a sailor, like you say,
Yeah, you're a crazy guy, Lewis. Lewis is unpredictable. I
know. I'm surprised you haven't booted me out yet.
Well, I mean, I can give you an example. Like there was, and I'm not going to say names or anything, and I bet you Luis knows what I'm talking about. But not too long ago, there was this show, and it was at a certain time of day, and usually it only goes on for like about an hour or something like that. And it got heated where there was some guests that came on and started complaining, making laments, and it went out of hand. Like a show that normally is like maybe an hour, over an hour, went on for 5 hours, and it was out of control. And I thought, why is this happening? Why is this, and me and a couple other people were like writing the host saying, shut this down now, because you're not saving face, but you're also like showing the public that this is really what you're doing, is you're creating this like
Wow.
kind of animosity atmosphere, and it was really bad to the point where finally that person got it, and 2 days later, like he pulled the content down to edit it because there was some pretty remarkable things being displayed. There was like account information, there was privacy issues, probably
my
HIPAA laws. I mean, it was
Wow.
ridiculous, and it's like, and then let alone a lot of cussing too.
Well, yeah,
And
that's
I'm just
exactly what
like,
Brendan was.
this is a circus.
That's exactly what he was just talking about. About if someone starts getting out of hand, boot them out.
Done.
Yeah.
And on that note is cussing too, when you limit your own channel, especially, when you start marketing your videos for 18 and older, you're already limiting your videos. So I think, I think Roberto Blake was one of the bigger YouTube channels that recently talked about that. And I thought that was actually really good advice is, doing those simple things, those simple changes just within your content to reach out to a bigger audience. So yeah. Not worth it.
No, that's just crazy.
It is something to consider.
So have you guys started the new channel? Like, what's it going to be called? I'm interested. So
Oh,
what does that look like?
It's been. We're already in what 6 episodes? 6 lives. I'm sorry, not episodes. It's not a TV show.
This Monday is going to be our 7th one.
7th one. Yeah.
What the heck, Lewis? You didn't tell. I talk to you like every day.
Yeah, it's just like I said. I've been so busy, and you know how I am now. So, and I know you've been busy going through, what you're going through as well. We haven't really had a chance to really talk. It's just we'll call each other. Hey, how you been? How you doing? How are the kids? And then boom, I'll see you later.
And I can open up that door, and I'm okay with it. This is something that I created. So, and I think transparency is a very important thing, and I think that's everything that you guys, what it sounds like, is what you're doing, and opening that door up for other people. So, and I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer here, but this is real stuff. So, a couple years ago, my wife was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and that's actually and why I talk about that specifically. Come here, Rosie. Come here. Go lay down. Lay down. She's like spinning in circles. When we were going through that, that's why I got started on YouTube in the first place. That was that allowed me to try to think outside the box to say, okay, well, what can I do for my children to get them out of the house? I don't want them to see mom like that. And it was a very difficult time. On a positive note, she is in remission now, but it's been a journey. And that's what got us started. And, the kids were watching Ryan Toy Review, and I'm like, we can do that. So, but I learned so much, and I'm just so, it's crazy that during dark times, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes you don't realize that even in that darkness, like that's going to lead you somewhere, and I tried to think of that at the time, but I'm like, I don't know where this is going to go. All I could think about was her health. But then in comes YouTube, which a lot of people are like, oh, you just watch videos. Like for me, it completely changed my life. It got us through the darkest time. I didn't have to think about really, I try not to really, some things are out of my control when your wife is going through something like that. So I would just edit videos, work on thumbnails, try to learn from these big creators. And I would spend day after day, Lewis knows, I would talk his ear off, but I just want to say that, I know for you as the viewer, especially if you're watching this on replay, we're all going through craziness right now in the world. And I'm not going to really bring all that here, but I just want you to know you're not alone. And that's what this is all about, but more YouTube related, but there's nothing like community. Nothing.
Yeah, definitely, man. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Change the mood a little bit. Sorry, guys, but I just wanted to open up about it.
No, that's fine. I already knew about it, so, but everybody else that didn't know,
And I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, like you said, and this is going to be able, providing you decide to post it, this is going to be able to, maybe you don't have a lot of followers now, but trust me, as time goes by, it could be just one person that runs across this video and just hears it, And
exactly, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's like I think that's kind of where it's in formation. We may be on the 7th channel, but nothing perfect, and like it's it's funny you said about cussing. I caught myself cussing, words a couple times, but it was like nothing bad. It was just like the excitement of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then but it's like the whole concept. Ask Luis, he knows. I get all hyper in the show because like I'm just really passionate about it. And
Yeah.
That's where it
the thing I'm
starts.
passionate about is, yeah, it's like you said, why do you want to doing it? It's like because I want to do this because it starts to me like the wish is like the biggest thing you can have in the whole world. Is like one wish because some people call it a prayer. I said a wish is if you're sincere about it and truly sincere, both mind and heart. If you really want something, I think it can come true. And my thing is I don't want to be on YouTube if I'm wasting my time, because then I'll be wasting other people's time.
Absolutely.
And so like, talking to Luis, about, what can we give? I mean, like we're not experts or this or that. I mean, we didn't talk about it like that, but my thing is why don't we talk about just something simple? And I got too complex calling it Monday's Mindful Merchants, and it's like tripping up everybody's tongue, I'm like, maybe we should just call it Mindful Merchants, because it's and we say merchants because we are talking about resellers, and we have kind of an interesting community, but we have people that are not like resellers that come in our community and connect, and we take them open arms, and
it's pretty much open to anybody. It's not open just to a particular people. It's open to anybody. And I mean, what Louis is trying to say too, we're just trying to share information, let people know, what, you're not alone out here, because I know sometimes as creators, you feel like, oh man, I'm out here in the wild by myself because you're doing this on your own.
Yes.
So it's a good platform for people to come in and just hang out and ask questions and pretty much just, hey, you know what, you're having this kind of day. Well, maybe try this, or,
I think that is so cool.
Like what Luis said, it's like they'll be able to say that, but it's different voices, meaning it's different talking heads, which is different content creators. I'm talking like different, some that are like well seasoned. They've been doing this for 20 years and they really know what they're doing. And we'll bring in somebody new, and I'm trying to dial it up. Like I'm trying to bring whatever demographic you can think of. It should be about that. We got like next week we got to be in our best behavior and be on the ball. This guy has like been probably one of the more astute content creators. I mean, like he's got tens of thousands of followers, but it's not because of that. It's because he's just so mindful. Like he really, he's so passionate. He has so much to contribute to people, specifically in the reselling world. But it's like about he calls himself daily refinement. I'm like, wow, that says it all right there. How do you anybody in their life, how do you refine, you as a military person, you understand discipline is very, it's like, it helps you maintain focus and it helps you elevate, and you take that and you give it to somebody who says, I'm a reseller, but I'm also a content creator. Wow, that's a lot there, because. Can
you help me define a reseller?
Yeah, a reseller is he's saying to define what a reseller is. Well, to break it down, a reseller is someone that sells stuff on eBay, Mercari, Etsy, Bonanza, all the selling, like the online selling platforms.
And you guys are covering that as well.
Well, it comes in that community where it comes from.
Okay.
So, but like what Louis was saying, it's not just to reach out to that reseller community. It's what he's trying to say.
Yes.
Gain insights.
We're doing this so anybody can watch it. It's not just on that niche only. So, that's like, good. Say, if you're just a housewife, just per se, and you feel like you're feeling down, and then you come across this and you say, "Oh, Monday's Mindful Merchant. Let's see what this is about." Just because it has a mindful on it.
Also, like bring to the platform, like the same housewife that's like, whatever. She's got some, mental challenges like in her life that are just struggles. Like maybe her husband's, falling sick and ill, or whatever, her children or something, or just she's having struggles, and he or she like comes to this and goes, "Oh, I can resell, but let alone this is also thank you." you for mentioning meditation. Thank you for
Mhm.
mentioning that, tomorrow is going to be a better day.
Mhm.
Thank you for talking about this because I know that I have burnout,
Yeah.
I'm in this pandemic and I'm living in, there's times of
Yeah.
anxiety and that, it's just so many doors. I'm finding that, and I've had many people come to me. I don't know about you, Luis, but I've had a couple people going, that's such a broad topic. I'm like, that's the point. But
Mm.
we're staying within this little niche. It's a little niche of resellers that, because everybody goes to Amazon. Oh, I'm buying from Amazon. No, you're not. You're buying from a third party, and the majority of people don't
Yep.
know
Mhm.
this, but like people that are doing this and they're feeding their families and they depend on
Mhm.
reselling. And
So
it's a
so what
hard
is your
thing.
channel called? What is it called? The new one, Luis.
My personal channel or Luis,
The one that you guys are working together
No,
on.
no. Oh, he does it on. Louis does it on his channel. It's
Okay.
called the Lone Star Picker.
Okay.
Like, yeah, and we'll actually go
but
off
we
like
but
1 week.
we take turns.
We'll take turns. 1 week he goes, and then 1 week I go.
Oh,
You know what I
right
mean? And
on. Okay,
Yeah.
tracking now.
yeah, and then with the actual thing, I know we haven't mentioned it. The guests that we've had have been both men and women. So it's not
Cool.
just sticking to like just the
Mhm.
men. So we're actually bringing in the women as well. So we kind of balance
Yes.
it out on a week to week
All
basis.
walks of life
Where
too. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it's just like I said, different people with different backgrounds and different stories, like you say. But the one thing that we try to always show and say to everybody is, you're not alone. You know,
Mm.
this is here for
So
you. This is here for them. This is
Okay.
here for me. This is here for anybody that is going through something. It's just showing you whether you're a reseller or you're a housewife or you're a truck driver or I know you're in the military too. Sometimes you just need somewhere to kind of go and say, you know what, let me go see what's this about, and then just
and
hearing
there's a
different
lot of
people's.
military that resell too.
Yeah, we get in a lot of military
That's
people
great.
in our on our
We talk
thing
about
too. So
PTS. We haven't had one on our show yet, but I know a couple that have in the reseller community, and they'll talk
Mhm.
like in a live chat, like you have
hmm
here, and they'll say, and like our first guest was named Emily Conway, and she's very much an open book about like she talks about mental health issues. She's not
mental
afraid
health
of it,
issues.
but
Yeah.
she says I am a part-time reseller, and she's
hmm
very open about it. And there's a lot of people that come on her show, and some of them are military, and they go, "Yeah, I have PTSD." And thank you for talking about this, Emily. You know,
You'd be surprised how
and
many
so
times PTSD comes up.
we had
Mm.
I mean, I don't know what the symptoms of PTSD are, but I know. I mean, I have family that's in the military. I have an uncle that suffers from PTSD, and I know it's
yeah,
not something easy to deal with. But to like Louis said, but to hear these people, talk about this, and it comes up a lot quite often. And I'm sure you
Hmm.
being in the military, you could kind of relate to maybe some of your brothers or sisters that probably deal with PTSD as well.
yeah.
Absolutely.
We know that it's not strictly just military, but but like my dad, I knew for sure. It took me years to realize, oh, my dad had PTSD because he was in the Vietnam War, you know, and I thought, oh, okay, that explains a lot. But it could be anybody that's gone through a lot of post-traumatic,
hmm
stress, and so yeah.
So
But
that's
that's just
I
one
think it's
thing.
amazing, guys. I think that's
hmm
great that like you said, it's not just reselling. It's like
Yeah.
mindful reselling.
hmm
It's okay. We're gonna be covering reselling, but we are also real.
hmm
It's I think that's what is needed now, and I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of channels or people have a hard time maybe opening that door, and for you guys to make it, that's what it's all
You
about.
said
I
two
think
things that were
it's
really
great.
important. You said transparency, and you
Yep.
said accountability, and
hmm
that
Mhm.
is probably two of the legs that this program. We have,
hmm
Luis and I, we know we're on the same page, but like if if you can't bring up stuff about accountability and you
Yes,
can't be transparent about it, how can you discuss
yes.
it? How can you have an open dialogue? And let alone,
hmm
how are you able to make that
Connect.
platform
How
hmm
can you
resonate?
connect?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, and then what
Yeah.
our lives do too, that it makes everybody comfortable, where you don't have to feel that you're dealing with this by yourself or that you have to hide it. You know, I mean, we're all human. We all have emotions. We all go
Yeah.
through different. You know, every day could be different. I mean, depending on what's going on with your life. You know, this is just us saying, you know what, you're welcome here with open arms. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to hide it.
Yep.
If you need to let it out and you need to speak about it, here you have a platform to do it.
That is great.
Or just
and
being
I
able to talk
go
about it like non-full
Mhm.
observation. So go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say that I think in the beginning, that was one of the first thoughts that I was thinking is when you guys were first talking about it. You know, one of the things that I always recommend to people is that if you try to reach everyone, you're most likely going to reach no one. And
Yep.
but I like that you guys are saying, okay, we could talk about anything, but we're also going to be talking about reselling. So really, in a way, you're not really reaching out anyone. You're
Mhm.
reaching out to people that are interested in reseller, but you're able to connect with people. So
Exactly.
I think that's really great, and yeah, I think you guys are. I think that's a great start to something really, really good that's needed on this platform.
You just,
No,
you know,
definitely,
we know
man.
we're the beginning stages, and we're just, you know, like I said, I came into it as the part of the wish was let's just plant seeds right now. Let's just plant a lot of seeds, you know, and you know, see where it goes because if we give this a chance, maybe it'll grow, and we'll see, you know, what the fruits of labor is going to be down the road. And I'm
Down the
not
road,
saying,
yeah.
you know, I will see it right away, but like in a year, 5, 10
Sure.
years, I don't know. You know, we'll never know. Sometimes maybe somebody will come in. There's like one guy named he's a part of this reseller community because he happens to know a lot of resellers, but he started because he only knew 1 or 2 guys that are really big in our community, at least in this circle that Luis and I are. And he calls himself Dan the Answer Man. And he says,
Mhm.
I will never be a reseller, but he comes there
Wow.
and he contributes the most, and he says, you guys give me so much. So like, and he'll come
Wow.
in on our show and just support, you know, he'll type something in there. He has something wise to say, you know, he's very charitable, like in giving what he knows in terms of knowledge. So it goes to show you, it goes both ways. So there's this
Yeah.
constant, I guess I look at it as a service. And I know, and I'm not saying that because of the military, but in my spiritual community I go to, we have this thing about being of service, and that's selfless giving.
Yeah.
You give, you know, and just like military, you understand too. Anybody that goes to the military and a click of a finger, you send overseas, and you may have to do something, you know, that you may not want to, but you're doing it because you're being of service. And you know, in this case, it would be for our country, you know. And so I like to look at something serious, you know, in a way like this place is a treasure trove. YouTube, I mean, not just YouTube, but there's other places. But we are on YouTube, so we're content creators, and what do we have to give? Because if we're not, you know, I've seen a
I
lot of
love that.
content out there like, hey, let me tell you what I can do for you. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, is this a sales pitch or, you know?
Yep.
it's oh man, you're getting me pumped now. All right, so that man, that okay, so that is the start, right? And you know I talk about this, Lewis, but like your
Yeah.
why, right? Your why,
Mhm.
and
Why? Yep.
so why would somebody watch your video? Why would you watch your own video? You know,
Mhm.
why did you start making videos? Why are you thinking about making videos? And you have to answer
Mhm.
all those whys, but
Mhm.
that is a huge why is,
Mhm.
you know, why you're making videos. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of me. And the moment you keep saying I, me, it's like there's too much of that in the world. And I think I want you guys to know as well that, you know, Lewis knows this, but you know, if you guys ever want my input on your channel, if you guys ever want to do a channel review, if you guys ever, you know, whatever, you guys, you know, Lewis, I know, especially for you, you've been on here for a couple of years. So,
Yep.
but I deep dive into all that learning stuff. So if you guys
Yeah.
ever need any, not necessarily tips from me, but any advice, or if you guys are ever looking for any type of help, I would love to help you guys out. And to me, that's what's important is the more people that we have in here, the more input, you know, even for myself, I could pull up content creator hangout right now and, you know, people could pick that apart. You can't take that. And you have to try not to take that and get emotional about it because,
Yeah.
you know, I see it all the time. Oh, it looks great job. And then you're like, okay, but why don't I get views? But you're doing a great job. And it's like, well, you know, that criticism, that's what's really going to help you, that constructive criticism. And you really, I think you guys are onto something. But whatever you guys need from me, Louis, especially
Definitely.
I'd be more than willing to help you guys out in any way. And I look forward to this channel growing, especially because, people can check me too. Hey, man, I don't think that's right. All right. Well, I heard it from 10 other channels, but I would love to hear your advice, and,
No, definitely.
Yeah,
same here. I'm here, me. What was that, Louis? No, just saying. Same with me. No, like I said, we're here too. If you ever need our help or anything, I'm here. You know how to reach me. We're in contact constantly, and Louis, same. Just like I say, hopefully, we'll love to have you on with us one of these days when you're available on Monday, just to get you out there and get your channel out more, and just so you can share some more of your knowledge as well.
Because what you talk about is something that can be forwarded to a reseller. But like I said, it wouldn't matter because somebody can stumble on our channel that's not a reseller and then see you and go, "Oh, I need to know about that,"
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I think you hit it on the head, both of you guys. What you've been talking about is I scream about this all the time when I go on and do an interview. They go, "Well, what's one of the more important things, for all of us to learn here?" And I'm like, collaborate. The more you collaborate, and I don't care what background you are, the more you can collaborate, the more connectivity that I think it strengthens. Because when you collaborate with somebody, somebody's going to see you, then that's going to kind of, and it does become this spider web, of
it does,
in a true sense of the net. So like anybody, and we always say this, when we do a show, we go, hey, you may be starting out, you may be a new reseller, you may have come back and watched this video, and this may have been recorded a while ago, but we want you to know, and then we tell them what our intentions are, and that is hang in there, stay strong, don't be discouraged. If you need help, reach out to somebody else. If you're not sure what you're doing, talk to somebody about it, because maybe you're doing this much reseller content, but maybe you're really about this, Maybe you want to entertain. Maybe and everybody, and that's the thing about the reseller community. I think there's a little bit of, I'm going to go out on a limb here. There's a little bit of like redundancy where like they feel like there's a formula of how to act, and I'm like, no, I think it's just learn who you are and be your own personality, but be honest and be truthful, because people read through the BS. They know when you're not being authentic. I think.
Absolutely. And I know that it's cool because you guys are talking about community and you're talking about bringing people in. It's cool because actually what you guys are talking about really is a different audience, say, from here, because I do believe in transparency and being myself. I'll give you an example. I talked about this before, Louis, but one of the things, like when I started this channel, I was like, okay, cool, keep it really professional and very serious. And then, and it's content creator hangout, it's not content creator business 101, and my wife's like, well, do you plan on like maybe going on a car ride and talking about YouTube, or, just hanging out and, not being so serious. And it's weird because it was, but I had this fear, and I had this fear of, projecting myself a certain way. But then I told my wife, I was like, you know what, I'm sorry, because you're absolutely right. And I think that's the power of live streaming. But your guys' audience is a lot different, but similar to here, because we are looking at YouTube, and that's why I'm not afraid to bring another creator like James in here to give tips. I'm not gonna. That's a lot different. It'd be like Brian G. Johnson and Nick Neiman, coming together, and I think that's powerful. I want to know more. I want to learn more, and that's what this is all about. And while you guys are resell and looking at that mindfulness and the mental health behind just life in general, it's a cool connection, but two totally different audiences. But you're right, when it comes to collaborations, it's great because you're affording your knowledge and advice to a whole new audience. But at the same time, yes, you can reap rewards for that,
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's not about rewards in the long run.
No.
I mean, it's nice. It's like an artist. You know, an artist will create their artwork no matter what. I mean, because they have this drive. But
Yes.
it's another thing to be acknowledged. It's another thing to be like desiring the praise. You know, I don't want to be narcissistic about it. I want it to be where, you know, I don't get much credit in the long run. I don't care as long as it helps people. It really is imperative that we do that. You know, it's like a soldier that goes to war. You go to war and you don't come back asking, "Hey, by the way, pat me in the back because, you know, I saved the world," or something. You know, and it's like, what do you know? All you can do really is just put your best foot forward. You know, try your best. You're gonna fall down and maybe make mistakes or do something where you put your foot in your mouth. And so what? Yeah. But like, as long as you have a channel and that channel somehow gives some kind of contribution, which it sounds like you're doing with this, is to have a platform to kind of just come together, meet, talk, and learn. Really, and I think you said one of the most important things is like, if you're not learning, why bother? You know, it's like, you know, because everybody has something to contribute, and everybody, you know, you wake up every day. The day you stop learning, wow, what a boring world.
Yeah.
You know.
I want to also say hello to Wendy. She's in the chat. Wendy, thank you for joining us. And James says, create because you need to, not because someone else wants you to. Okay. Create probably because you want to, not because someone else wants you to. So pretty much create for you, you know, and create what your passion is, you know, and I think that goes along with expectations. Yes. Be passionate, do something that you are naturally passionate about. But what you said, Lone Star, was pretty much, especially, I think, could be applied to all channels. And it's, you know, what do you have to offer for that person viewing? And naturally, I think that's just how you need to be as a creator. But I think naturally, it makes you a better person too. Like, what could I offer somebody else? You know, and that's why I hate, I don't use that word a lot, I hate sub for sub and watch for watch. It makes you feel a certain way. It makes you feel dirty, you know, and then especially when you get those subscribers, they just unsubscribe anyways, or YouTube audits and they get rid of all those subscribers.
There's a possibility. I was kind of like that. I'm kind of like you in some ways, but I will say this much. It's resellers, sometimes we joke and we have this saying of going, hey, a little shameless self-promotion, you know, like, if you want to come on and subscribe to me, I'd appreciate it, you know. But that's
totally different.
That's you know.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that's different.
People do, I don't know. Well, sometimes they do, and some of them do it like really shamelessly, like they.
But I did it. That was me. I did it for my first like couple hundred subscribers, and I'm just saying, because I'm not going to say, oh, I don't like these types of people, because that was me, and I'm just saying that people are usually going to find out the hard way that they're like, okay, I got 500, and it's like, but why do I have 20 views? Or, you know, you're just going to find out that it's not worth it. But there's nothing wrong with saying,
you already know the analytics of it. It's better to have 250 very faithful people that they want to stick with you.
1,000%.
Even if they can't watch you all the time, at least you know that they're your true supporters, and they probably wouldn't unsubscribe to you because they like you.
True supporters. You know? That's the key word. True supporter. That is 100% right. 100%. But there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, here's the content that I have, and if you're interested in content like that, check me out, and, you know, don't feel afraid to subscribe. But a lot of people just say, hey, here's my new video, and if you like it, I'm only looking for genuine subscribers because I'm a genuine channel. So make sure you subscribe because I love you.
You can't tell somebody they're genuine or not genuine. You know, I want to be careful there. It's like, hey, if you're not genuine, don't. I'm just teasing. but
you're right.
But you brought up a thing, like you said, you're making these videos and stuff. And like one thing I told Luis is we got to get strategic, because now I'm looking at YouTube. It's really a business. So that's a whole different topic, probably, to have a conversation.
Yes, that's a great topic. But yes, you're right.
That'll be for another episode.
Yes.
For another live.
By the way, hit the thumbs up if you haven't down here. Ring the bell and subscribe to this guy over here.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
But seriously, like, we talked about like different things you can do, and one was, I don't know what took me so long, but you know, I mean, I'm not very far. I only got a few hundred, you know, subscribers. Not only, but I'm grateful, by the way.
Absolutely, I
But I
got you.
said, why don't I make a playlist? And I realized the playlist was so organized, and I wanted to be. I
Mm.
basically, and my artist, I wanted to present something. So I said, more like, what's your show? Oh, what's your link? What is it about? And I thought, well, it's like when you, as a salesperson, if presentation is very important, ask Luis. So like if we're selling something on, whatever your platform is, Mercari, Amazon, eBay, or whatever, you want to make your pictures look very nice because people are going to want to see your thumb in it or, your foot in the background or whatever it is. They don't
Yep.
want to see them poorly lit. So like as part of YouTube goes, we said, well, I told Luis, I said, let's get our game on. And we both made our playlist. And it was, I was racking my brain on like, well, wait a minute. We're on 2 channels. How am I supposed to get his channels on mine? And I'm like, duh, it's a playlist. So once we did that, but we put in the information. I put the title. They give you all the room. You can put a really nice title and you can write a nice description. But more importantly, you just grab that link of the playlist and you go, good morning, here you are. Somebody said on a live, where are you? By the way, if you have a chance, come see us tomorrow. And that promotion we do. But hopefully if somebody gets that and bookmarks, at least if you click on it, they go, wow, you got a portfolio of stuff. We've been working hard. We're, and I'm not ashamed to say that. We're trying. That's the main thing. But
and you said it, man. You said 300 subscribers.
We're trying.
We're just doing our best. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the more subscribers will come along. And I've met so many nice people. Just by talking, they'll subscribe. Just to say nice things to people. Hey, did you have a good day? Did your sales do good? Hey, and most people they're very like, hey, thank you for noticing. Nobody asked me. I appreciate it. Because ask Luis, the reseller community is a very lonely community. A lot of us do it ourselves. Unless you have a power couple or something. And even then, that's hard. That's few and far between.
Well, but you're finding a need and want. Like I said, when I was creating my channel, when I had Sparks Family TV, I always had questions, and I would always try to reach out to people. And I ended up finding Lewis and another channel, and we were like the trio. But there was other channels, but I just felt like there was this need. I'm like, I don't know about this, guys. Is this thumbnail good? What happens if you don't have a community tab? And even the community tab, I feel like it's just like it should rename the community tab because it's not really like community. People can comment in it, but that's what Facebook's for. That's why there's Facebook groups. And for me, that's what I wanted. I'm like, okay, how do I create a channel where it's like a Facebook group? But in order to do that, I have to go live more. And I've realized that it's hard being in the military, and there's still, I'm still taking care of my family and, crazy times. So the problem that I have is going live at a later time.
Because if you're doing all that and you don't have a voice for yourself to it's not that you're venting, but it's just a voice to project all these thoughts. And it sounds like you got a lot of amazing thoughts. I can hear you, and talking about like, there's this, it's like, that's exciting because you don't see that much passion in a lot of people that are, and maybe it wanes over time. It's like a honeymoon thing, but I don't think so. I think when you really, really want to do that, it helps you clarify your voice, but you can't clarify it unless you have a place to speak. And so, like what you're doing is you're, I don't know, it sounds like you're still starting a little bit, but give it a year or two. Well, just look and keep notes, absolutely. Like keep a journal, like, wow, and just even sometimes write there's this guy that we're going to have on next week. His name is Christopher, and he's Daily Refinement. Like, this guy's got 60-something thousand or whatever it is. It's tens of thousands of followers. But I went back a year back. I still got to send you that link, Luis. And this guy goes, and he kind of talked about it in a negative. And I'm about mindfulness, which is just observe. Just observe. Like, if you were trained military, observe. Don't necessarily act upon it. Just observe. And pay attention to the details. You accumulate it, which you accumulate information that way. And he was talking about keeping a journal, which you're keeping information. And he was like, man, I went back just 1 month and I thought, what an idiot. Why did I think that? And I thought, this guy called himself
Wow.
an idiot, and I look up to this guy like he's brilliant. I mean, like, and he admitted everything that he was at the beginning, like he was doing wrong, and like how he was really an introvert. Because you wouldn't believe it, but he went from like hanging around 3 geeky friends that were like all liking the same girl in Utah to all of a sudden going, yeah. He said this. He said, "I'm going to show you this."
Oh, that's great.
It's like. He's like, what is this about these guys in Utah? Like, why can't they like a different girl? And then at one point he goes, I'm going to break out and I'm going to be my own person. And he did. And like in high school, somehow he did something. He ran for president or something. But he like started thinking that I have to be funny. So he started studying comedy and, you know, and started kind of going off. And all of a sudden people were like, we're going to vote for you. And he beat out like, you know, I think it was like the star athlete and this and that, and somehow became the class president, you know. And from that point on, like, his confidence level was like, okay. And then somebody that was like popular in school who said, listen, I think it was like the secretary, the person that got to be the secretary of the school said, come here, I'm going to show you how to be cool. Don't do this. We need to go eat at different tables. And he's like, what? Yeah, one day they'd sit with the goth kids, the next day they'd sit with some athletic kids, the next day they would sit with the musician kids. And what it was teaching them is to collaborate, like, and to be able to cross those boundaries and to move past your comfort zones. Don't just think you're in one niche. Just understand that everything is like a whole, and then it all affects everybody. And just really be yourself. And I was like, oh, I see. And he said at the end of all that crisis of like, you know, whatever it was he was going through, he ended up like, I think he went to prom and he ended up taking out one of the cheerleaders. He said, I'm going to date a cheerleader.
Oh my gosh.
And she did, you know. So I'm thinking, this is like daily refinement. Christopher's talking. This guy is such a shrewd businessman. I'm like, I'm not kidding you. Like, he makes thousands of dollars a week doing his job. I mean, like, this guy is smart and he's working for himself, you know. And I'm thinking,
I love that he started as an introvert, though. You know, that's a cool story. You know, it's not like, you know, he's always been this outgoing guy who just figures out all the answers. You know, you know, he's been on the other side, so that's cool. It's not
a paid thing where people pay to be in a group with him so that he can help them learn. I mean, that's to come to that point and realize I can do this. I got the confidence. I know what I know, you know. But not only that, he's got the path to it. You know, like you said, an introvert to like the antithesis.
Yeah. And I'm not afraid to have that weight. Like, I'm not afraid. So that's the thing. Like, I feel like for a lot of creators, they look at their 10th or 15th, you know, whatever video, and they're looking at results, you know, and I think it starts with, you know, believing in yourself. But even if you're having a hard time doing that, just lean hard on that passion, you know, and that's why, like, if you're like, okay, well, the tech space makes the most money, so I'll go that route. Well, you're probably likely to fail. You know, do you have an interest in tech at all? You know, and I think it can go both ways. You know, you can be smart with tech, but I just think like when burnout does happen,
what you need to learn, you know what you need to know, and learn what you need to learn. Like you said, you know, the hard part is discerning. Discernment's a hard thing to do, to figure it out and say, I need to, you know, do I really need to do tech or whatever it is you're asking? But it's like, I think if I were to give it, I wouldn't call it advice. If I had to give a suggestion to everybody on YouTube, one thing I would say is go back and learn everything you learned back. And unfortunately, maybe it's semantic kind of perspective, but it's like with Christopher, I'm an idiot. I'm like, no, never call yourself an idiot. Observe everything you do, everything to a T, dissect it, analyze it, go into it and keep notes on it. But one thing, non-critical observation. Simple as that. Just observe it non-critically, analyze it, and it sounds like you like have a lot of questions, and I love that when I hear somebody go, well, there's this and this, you know, and you got and you do. That's a hunger, you know, and that's you put that hunger and you maintain your focus, then you're going to elevate if you want to learn. If you really want to learn. With a good intention, though, you know.
Absolutely. There's always room for growth, in my opinion.
Yep.
You know, I can't come to here, even though we got 1.4 thousand subscribers, right? And for somebody starting off, they're like, whoa, that's a lot. Even for you, 300 subscribers. And to me, like it's more than just a subscriber, because especially when you're focusing on true followers, but I think that when you focus less on the numbers and you focus more on your content and what you're passionate about, because that passion, though, that fire, you mentioned it earlier, Lone Star, and that's that fire can burn out, and when it does, what can you do to build that fire back up? And one, I believe it's taking that break, taking that time, reevaluating, take care of yourself, reach out to your community, but sometimes it can also happen at a lot earlier stage, when you do make your first few videos and you're not what you expected on camera. But I think it's great what you guys are doing with the mental health behind the reselling. You guys you're mixing two niches. And I feel like in 2020 and going into 2021, that's also important. More than ever, people are trying to figure out how to do what you're doing. And that's taking a want and a need and taking something that's trending and something that can hopefully turn your channel into a business. How do you mix them? And I think you guys figured that out, and I commend you both for that.
Well,
Thank you.
And we're trying our best. So I appreciate your compliment. But it's not always about mental health. It is mental well-being, which is kind of general, but that's definitely inclusive of mental health. But it's also mental strategies, and mental strategies are what we're talking about. How to be a better person. If you're a content creator, how do you be a better person? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. One day we'd love to have you on. And we'll talk about pretty much like what we're talking about now. It's just really about having a dialogue. That's part of the whole thing. Of the continuity of having a good community is to be able to let communities. A community is like a bubble. If like you got some friends and like tonight you were nice and you politely invited me on, and I know you and Luis have known each other. And and it's like, well, thank you. It's like meeting those new friends that you. It's that analogy that I gave you with Christopher going to different tables. I don't know the coffee kids. I don't know the sport jocks. I don't know. Matter. The thing is can you go there and just. This is who I am. At least you're aware. That's all it is. Is just keep your mindful awareness about like where you are in your place, and just know that. Just because you're talking to who you think you're talking to in an audience, you never know who's going to walk in that door.
You never know. That's true.
Yeah. He always talks about that all the time, though. He says, you never know who's watching.
Yes.
So that's true.
You never know. Yeah. And you never know, too, when your channel can pick up. And so I would tell somebody, my main goal is reaching out to that person who is just getting started, and especially for you guys, because the thing is like my target audience is somebody who's just starting. But the thing is that with this channel specifically, you guys have Lone Star, you have 300 subscribers, and like that's huge because you have already so much to offer. You've already learned so much from the time you've been on. I'm not afraid to tell myself mentally, okay, it may take a couple of years, and I think that's just the mindset. Like, have fun doing it and do what you love. Yeah. And because it's a marathon and it's not a sprint. We say that quite often. And but you never know when that algorithm can take you. Yes.
Yeah, and don't get too caught up in that.
Yes.
Yeah, just like you keep saying. Great point too. I think and sometimes we trick ourselves. We say those things and like, but at the same time, as you really, really genuinely believe it, like, okay, it's like waking up every morning. I have a mantra. I have several things I say. I have a board up here that's an accountability board, and I'll change a quote every day. But my main thing is when I get up, what new thing am I going to learn today, and who can I help? What am I grateful for? I mentioned a load of things, but it's like, and hopefully one of those will stick with me throughout the day. Sometimes more than not, and then if you know, okay, what was my daily aim? Because you have aims so you can reach those goals. It's a constant struggle. I forget, and the more you have friends that you can reach out and say, hey, what's going on? What are you doing today? Well, I'm trying to stay out of trouble. I'm trying to remember what my goal was today, or whatever. But also, like I said, remember that you started new, and if you're talking to that same person that's starting, just remember that's probably like the one reason you want to stick around doing this, if that's your intention, you know. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I love starting over, and I think that's great. I think it's fun for me personally because, you know, yes, on the last channel I put a lot of work in it, this, that, and the third. But starting over is just, it's cool because I can say it's hard in one aspect because they're like, dude, you don't know anything. You have 40 subscribers, and me in my head, I'm like, because I've already been told that several times, and but for me, it's like, well,
Wow.
I don't even look at my subscribers. I don't even stare at it, and I do refresh my page every once in a while because I get excited about views and what people are going to say in comments. That's what I get excited for. But I think it comes down to mindset. Oh yeah, for sure. But you know, it's not like it used to be for me. I'm not chasing numbers. You know, chase better content, chase community, chase engagements. Create those webs like you mentioned.
Yeah, be consistent, dude. That's another thing. That's another algorithm we all know. I know you know this already. I'm preaching to the choir, but
go ahead and share, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep making it, you know, and just be faithful to yourself in the sense that you know that. Just act that one person that's never heard what you're saying, you know.
Yes. Yeah, and consistency is important, not just for the algorithm, but it's consistent because it's what you're talking about, Lone Star, and that's the accountability. It's, you know, if you're posting once a week, that means in 5-10 weeks, your content will naturally, most likely, it's going to get better, but you got to keep posting, you know, and yeah, not focusing so much on, you can focus on the SEO, the search engineering optimization, focus on thumbnails and all those things. But if you're not focusing on your community, then you're just, I feel like you're missing really what it's all about.
It's a big pot of stew, isn't it?
Yeah, man. All I know is, so for everyone that's watching live right now, or it's going to watch at a later time, there's a lot of good information being shared here tonight. So make sure you guys take notes. Make sure you guys, if you guys like what you guys are hearing, make sure you guys subscribe to Content Creators Hangout. Make sure you guys hit the like button because there's a lot of good information being shared here tonight. So any new upcoming creators, this is some information you will want to, you know, listen to, acknowledge it, and hopefully this will steer you in the right direction starting your YouTube channel.
Yes, and it's creators like you that are checking me on the advice when you're saying what I'm saying or I have said. That keeps me in check. So thank you guys for that, and I do appreciate it.
You're helping us. It goes both ways, you know. It's like I said, it's always about sharing. You know.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight.
Yeah,
and yeah, I look forward to future live streams. I look forward to even more people in the chats. But for now, you know, we already have a great community with 40 plus subscribers, and it's great because these are all creators that are willing to grow, willing to learn, and I am as well. And that's why I love this, because when people like you come on, I get to learn as well. So thank you guys for joining me.
Anytime, buddy.
All right. Well, you guys have a good night, and thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
All right. I'll see you in the next video.